All right, I think we're ready to kick things off. Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. My name is Joseph. I oversee our MLS partnerships here at CubiCasa. I'm so excited to chat with all of you today in this 103 level session as we walk through all of the editing and customizing features that you'll have access to once you've completed scans of the properties. I'm also joined today by Daniela from our success team. She'll walk us through the quick edit tool where you can edit your floor plans and show you where and how you can create custom floor plan styles to use to market your listings. Hopefully, by now, everyone that's joining us today has at least downloaded the app, hopefully done a few scans and created some floor plans. But if not, no worries. I always like to start out with a quick introduction to what CubiCasa is before I hand things over to Daniela. And I'll also give you a quick recap of all of our available 2D and 3D floor plan options that you can create with your floor plans. As we're going through everything today, please feel free to use the Q&A function in Zoom to send over any questions that you have. We'll be keeping tabs on that as we go. We'll send over a couple of links in the chat box, so don't forget to follow along there as well. And lastly, we'll leave the room open for about 10-15 minutes or so at the end of the webinar, just to allow time for additional Q&A. We're also going to be doing some holiday giveaways at the end of today's webinar, so don't forget to stick around to see if you are one of our lucky winners. With that, I think we are ready to dive in. So as I mentioned, if we do have anybody joining us that has not created their account yet or has not used CubiCasa, I'll start out with that high level background. So we started a number of years ago, essentially as a floor plan redraw service. But we've evolved into what we are today, which is the mobile app that allows you to quickly and easily scan the property in just a couple of minutes to create an accurate floor plan of the home. You'll also be able to generate things like the individual room dimensions to use to populate the listing, share with potential home buyers, and you'll have access to a number of different 2D and 3D options once you've scanned the home and different types of reports that you can generate that will highlight key information or features of the home that you can then share with your clients on either the buy side or the sale side as well. Yeah, once you've completed that scan, you'll be able to generate a number of different options. So the bulk of what we're going to talk about today is using our quick edit tool to make adjustments to your floor plan and changes, as well as how you create those custom styles. But before we dive into that, I want to quickly show you the options that you'll start with that you will then be able to go in and edit and make those adjustments to. So first up, what you see on screen here is a side-by-side of our free basic floor plan, which is that light option, as well as a plus style floor plan that includes the fixed furniture. If I can direct your attention to the top right here, let me see if I can get my cursor um, over here to show you that area that I'm referring to. This primary bath up here, that's a nice area to look at for this side by side. So you'll get familiar with what the basic floor plans look like, sort of the outline of the space. And then with the fixed furniture, you'll see all the appliances and fixtures drawn into the floor plan, as well as the door swing directions and all that sort of good stuff. So fixed furniture is kind of the key piece of the Plus package, but the Plus floor plans also include a number of different things. One more option is the availability to create custom styles. So that's what we're going to look at today. This example here on the left-hand side shows one of our pre-made templates that you'll be able to choose from and earth tones, but you can go in and create completely custom styles. You can even upload your own logo. So if you wanted to add, your brokerage logo and then change up the colors of the floor plan to match your broker branding, that will be available for you. And we'll walk through creating those custom styles here in just a few minutes. What you see on the right-hand side of the screen here is an example of our GLA report or gross living area report. This is a separate add-on that you can select. This will show the livable versus non-livable square footage of the home. This is typically used by appraisers, but a nice way to show the breakdown of the space if you've got a partially finished basement or an area where the top story, areas of the top story of the home rather, that have low ceiling height and aren't factored into the actual livable square footage of the space. Next up here are some of the reports that you can generate. So the two reports that you see on screen here are included with our Plus style floor plans. So the home report will have a cover page kind of outlining high level key details of the home, and then break into this level by level and room by room breakdown that you see the sample page of here, making it very easy to share things like the individual room dimensions with your clients. And then on the right-hand side of the screen here, you see a sample of the snapshots report. So snapshots allows you to take photos as you're walking through scanning the home, and then you'll be able to create a report just like this that shows each of your photos next to a floor plan, pinpointing where that photo was actually taken in the space. So just a nice way to highlight key features of the home or maybe new things in a home that are new to a first-time home buyer. We've also got our CubiCasa tour, which is bundled into all of our Plus style floor plans at no additional cost. This is our AI powered virtual tour. So it allows you to create an interactive floor plan just by scanning the property like normal. There's nothing different or additional that you need to do in terms of the actual scan of the home. And then from there, you'll just upload the listing photos, and we will be able to create this interactive experience for you. It's going to be a hosted experience as well. So you'll have a URL that you can copy paste into the virtual tour field on the listing, share out on social media, wherever you want to take it from there. But it's just a nice, simple, clean experience for consumers and for you as the agents, a really fast, easy, and affordable way to create this interactive type of floor plan that's really going to draw consumers in. Now, you may have noticed I walked through all of those very quickly. The point of this webinar is to focus on what you can do once you have created those scans and you have the floor plans available to edit and customize. But if you do want a deeper dive into all of the available products, we do host a 102 session where we'll kind of walk through every single thing that you can create. So tune in for that. We'll be hosting some more sessions after the holidays. Last thing to highlight here are our 3D style floor plans. We've got the actual plus 3D package, which will include what you see here, sort of the bird's eye view looking into that 3D rendered space. These will have loose furniture included, so the actual furniture will be drawn onto the floor plan, and it will have colors and textures matched to the space as closely as possible. So just a nice way to better visualize the home, especially if you have an empty home or vacant property. We can actually fill it with furniture, and that way you get a better feel for what the home actually looks like. If you choose to go with that plus 3D option, you can also add on a video rendering. I'll have this playing for a second here. I'm not going to walk through this whole video, but you're welcome to check out our YouTube channel. I'll send the link to this video where you can check out a few different samples actually of our 3D style floor plans. We're also running a holiday promotion right now through the end of the year, where if you choose this video rendering, we can add holiday decorations as well. So that way you have a really nice festive video. But as you can see, it will just be a couple-minute long walkthrough of that rendered space. We'll plan the route through the home that makes the most sense and is the most visually appealing. So don't worry about the route that you take through the home as you're scanning. That won't determine what we do with the video. We'll kind of clean things up and showcase the home in its best light. So again, we're not going to watch this whole video just because I want to focus on editing your floor plans, but I will send some links over in the chat box in a few minutes if you do want to take a closer look at some of those 3D video renders. Last thing to highlight with our available products are CAD files. So these will actually include multiple files, both of the 2D and 3D floor plans. These are helpful if you're going to be working with any sort of clients that are flipping the home, doing any sort of remodeling projects, to plan all of that work digitally before you actually go in and start any sort of renovation or even demolition of the home. Last thing I always like to highlight before we dive into all of the editing options is our amazing support team. I quickly ran through all the products. We're going to take a look at a lot of different tools and features that you can start using today. But I do want to highlight that our support team will always be available. We've got live chat baked into both the mobile app and the desktop site. That will be the fastest way to reach us. And we also have a dedicated priority email inbox specifically for our MLS partners, like all of you joining us today, which is just mlshelp@cubicasa.com. So that's everything that I wanted to cover on my end. I've included a QR code here on screen where you can get some more info on how agents are using our floor plans. I'll check in with Daniela to see if any questions came through or any common questions that we want to touch on, and then hand things over so she can dive into the dashboard and walk us through the quick edit tool, customizing your floor plans, and all the fun stuff that we're going to talk about today.
Thank you, Joseph. Well, we did get just a few questions that I want to highlight here, and then I will quickly jump over to the dashboard as other questions would be best answered by just showing you how to do it within your account. So someone asked if there is a fee for this service or how does the pricing work. So I just want to clarify that the light floor plan option for properties under 5,000 square feet are always going to be free. There are no hidden or monthly charges. And if you do want to go with the additional paid products that Joseph showed us, then you'll be able to do so on an a la carte basis and you'll only pay per scan for those as well. We also had someone ask about if you can display the heights or the widths of doors or fixtures or things like that. And we won't be able to do heights, but we can actually show you how to find the width of not just fixtures, but walls and other spaces within the floor plan as well. So stay tuned for that. I will show you how to do that here in just a minute. And then if you do want a recording of this webinar, you can go ahead and put your email on the chat. We will also put our helps in our knowledge base that will cover everything I will show you here today. So don't feel like you need to furiously write everything down. It's already been written down for you, and I'll show you where to go reference that at the end. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get my screen shared so that I can show you how to take a deeper dive on customizing your floor plans. Looks like we are all loaded. Perfect. All right. So before we start, I do want to make a note that the customization features I will show you today are only available through the web version at this time. So you do need to log in through your web account. They're not available yet through the app. We're working on that. But because it does use an editor tool that requires more like loading capacity, it will be through your web version. Same goes with the styling options and preferences we'll cover today. So to get started, you will need to click on an order that has already been delivered back to you. So I'm going to click on this address for our example today. And you will have access to the quick edit under the 2D product tab. You'll also have access to the CubiCasa uh, tour editor here as well. Both are pretty much linked, so you can just go ahead and select this tool. I do want to mention that this tool works best for Chrome or Microsoft Edge browsers. Safari has more restrictions as a browser type, so it might not allow certain features to display for you on the quick edit. So I would recommend using a Chrome browser if you can. Now to get started, you will see that you can select the floor at the top right corner that you can choose to edit from. I'm going to go ahead and jump to all floors. And if you use the cursor on your mouse, you'll be able to zoom out. There is this centering tool here at the top corner. If you select this, it will also kind of expand it to your screen, but you can also minimize it with your mouse. So this screen is useful if you want to click on the floor and rearrange it yourself to a different format to preview it. Once you have rearranged it and select the centering tool, you'll notice that it will kind of reformat the entire floor for you. Another neat feature that you can do is you can adjust the level labels themselves. So for this instance, I maybe don't want this to be floor one. I want this to be basement because I think it will be a little bit more clear to my viewers. And then I will just adjust all the other floors accordingly. So you'll just double click on that label. You'll type in the label that you want, and then it will go ahead and change that label for you. And you can hit enter and it will be done. Now, to adjust the specific level itself, we're going to go back to the corner and select it. And first, I'm going to cover how to make changes to your CubiCasa tour if you do decide to go with that paid product. So on the left-hand side, if you have already uploaded photos to your tour, you will simply select the tour icon feature. And now you will see your CubiCasa tour location markers on the floor plan. If you click on any marker, you will get a pop-up box appear with all the photos for that floor level, as well as that particular icon. If you click and drag with your mouse, you can adjust its position. And if you see this small bubble like at the top, of the little location marker. You can even adjust its orientation as well. You can also hide it. So if you don't want to show that angle of the room, you can hide that by clicking under Show and Tour and then unselecting that feature. You'll also be able to upload additional photos, be able to match photos that our AI system wasn't able to generate for you initially. It's really easy. Just simply click and drag it onto the floor plan. And then you can also adjust the positioning. So if you want to change your cover photo, for example, you can do so by just clicking and dragging the photo that you want before it as well. So that's it with the CubiCasa tour. So now going into other 2D editing options is one of the things that you'll be able to do is adjust the labels. This is one of the most common functions that you or most users will use a quick edit for. And it's a very easy process. Simply double click on that label. Once it's highlighted, you'll see this pop-up box appear on the corner under name. You'll be able to either select from a different label that is more applicable, or you can even type your own label if you would like as well. If you are using the GLA product, you can even select which rooms will be included or excluded from the total measurements. So all the options that you see here are kind of showing you what markers to choose from to have it included. And if you unselect unheated or unfinished, it will exclude that from the total measurements for you. Another thing that you can do is you can add additional labels to your floor plan. So on the left-hand side menu, if you click the plus and you click the text box label, click anywhere within the floor plan you want to add a label to, and simply add that label to your floor plan, hit enter, and now you have created a new label that you can apply anywhere within your floor plan. You can adjust the label text sizes as well. So to adjust all of the text sizes at once, select that option at the top. It's a T with an upward arrow to increase the size. To decrease is the one with the arrow pointing downward. And if you want to change the size of just one particular label, select that label, and using the plus or minus keys within your keyboard, you will be able to minimize or increase the size of that specific label. Now, if you want to remove a label entirely just to reduce some visual clutter or just because it might not be necessary for your client to see, you can click on that label and then on that label name, just add a few spaces, enter. And now that label will be completely hidden from your floor plan. And if you want to hide dimensions too, we have a toggle dimension icon at the top next to this compass symbol. Simply select that dimension and you'll be able to hide it from the floor plan as well. And you'll be able to toggle on or off any dimensions that you want to show or hide from the floor plan too. Now, I did mention that you can add lines and additional measurement features to your floor plan, and this is where you go to find that. So again, under that plus icon, if you go under the measurement elements of the last option in this menu, you will have the option to add a measurement line that will automatically give you the measurement of any wall or space within the floor plan. So if you would like to know about the size of the doorway on your floor plan, you can actually draw that in using your mouse and click and drag, select, and then you can also reposition it however you would like. You can even delete it if you won't want to display it at all. You won't just want to see it for reference. But it's a pretty neat feature, especially if you want to show any interior wall measurements of a particular room or space that's available for you. You can even add other line measurements. You can add an additional line. If you click the escape key, that's how you if you ever click something and you need to get out of it, clicking the escape key is always a good option for you, but you can also add different line measurements. So most likely used whenever someone wants to show an exterior area that wasn't particularly scanned, you can do that using those line measurements as well. If you do decide to go with the plus option, you can also adjust the fixed furniture icons within your floor plan. So this icons will include things like cabinets, sinks, fridges, toilet features, and you can either entirely delete them by clicking delete. You can always undo anything that you do within the top undo icon at the corner of the screen. You can even use the period key within your keyboard to adjust the orientation 90 degrees, or clicking the circle at the top to also orient it yourself. You can move it anywhere within the floor plan, and if you would like to add additional fixed furniture icons, we have a list created for you that you can select from in order to add those fixtures yourselves anywhere within the floor plan that you would like. And you can also adjust the size or the length of those features as well accordingly. And also if you are choosing to use the GLA option, you can choose to set which floor will be above or below ground. If you select this tool here, you'll get a pop-up letting you know the current state of that floor. So this is above ground. And if I wanted it to be below ground, I will select OK. Otherwise, I can just hit cancel and leave it as is. So these are some of the most important features within the Quick Edit tool. And again, don't feel like you had to write everything or memorize everything that I covered today. We will show you our Help Center knowledge base that has step-by-step instructions on everything that I just mentioned today so that you can reference it at any point to make quick and customizable edits to your 2D floor plans. Once you are done making changes to either your CubiCasa tour or your 2D floor plan, you will select this floppy disk here at the top to save your model. You will select OK, and once your screen is done loading, you can simply exit out of this tab, and your main screen will load and let you know once that floor plan has been generated with the changes you've applied. It only takes just a few minutes, so you can always come back and refresh your page and it should be ready. You can also check your emails for a notification there as well. Now, what happens when you have more complicated changes or you have 3D product changes that you want to do? Well, the next place for you to do that is under the change request function. Under this function, you'll have the option to select whether you want to change the 2D or the 3D products. And under the new request, you can also, this is where you'll be able to add as many requests as you want to modify your 2D floor plans or your 3D floor plans. A common request that we see all the time is maybe you forgot to scan the garage on your last scan and you would like to retroactively include it later on. If you let us know the positioning, you can always upload a reference file or a photo showing us where exactly that garage should be placed, how large it should be. We'll always be able to include that for you and make any other kind of changes you want. For our 3D floor plans and video render, we do have a list of changes we can and can't support. But if it is something that we can support you with, so maybe you want to change the style of the furniture within the floor plan or video, you can also go under the new request tab, make that request. You can even upload any reference design photos, and we'll go ahead and get started. For both change request tickets, we will send you an email notification, sorry, once that request has been completed and is ready for you to download. So that's it when it comes to adjusting modifications within your floor plan. Again, the fastest and easiest way is through the quick edit, but if for some reason it's a little bit more complicated or you don't have the time to explore that tool or you need changes on your 3Ds, the change request function is your next bet. Now, jumping over to other features available under your settings, if we go under ordering tab, here's where you'll be able to select which settings you want to have as defaults. So you're kind of pre-selecting them for yourself so you don't have to think or worry about it when you're creating orders through the app. So for instance, if you know that you're only going to be using the free light package, you can actually disable all other orders and add-ons so that you don't accidentally click on something you don't like. On the other hand, if you know that you will always want to have branded floor plans, you can choose the plus as a default, save it, and that way you will always receive that package on the app. You don't have to think twice about it. Moving into users and offices. So if you want multiple people to create scans for you, but still be under one main account, this is where you can go to create that. And all you have to do is just add an office space name. Once you've added that office space, you can add as many users as you want, as long as they don't already have a pre-existing CubiCasa account. You can do so by selecting Add User, add in their email address, first and last name, and the level of access you want to give them. And once you send that invitation, they will receive an email notification asking them to join and complete setting up their CubiCasa account through the app, and also include instructions on how to download the app so that they can create scans that you will have access to through your company account. And finally, going into the styling settings. So here's where you'll be able to customize and brand your floor plans as much as you want. If you don't have any styles created, you can get started by selecting Create Style. From here, I'm just going to give you a walkthrough of all the different options that are available because we know there is quite a lot. So I want to make sure that you're comfortable with them. So first, you will need to select a style name. This can be any name that you would like. With the language, you can choose what language you want your floor plans to be in. And the only thing that I will note here is if you put just standard English, it will put bedrooms as master or master bedroom or master bathroom labeling. If you do not want that, you want the primary label, so primary bedroom or bathroom designation, then you can select English with primary denotation. Units, so either metric, imperial, or both. If you need the floor plan in feet and inches, you will select imperial. You can also select how you want those imperial measurements to be rounded. You can also adjust how you want the area to be displayed. So if you not only just want the inches of that space or the dimensions, you can also have the total square footage or just the square footage alone of that whole interior space if that is more useful for you to display. Within the logo icon is where you can add your own logo to the floor plans and brand them as much as you would want. And then under that option is where you'll be able to customize all the color schemes within your floor plan. The colors are based on the space type. So for instance, some might be pretty self-explanatory, the wall colors, what colors do you want for the outdoor or bedroom spaces. Areas like the wet spaces, this will include things like baths, shared baths, saunas, anything with water, pools, things like that. Actually, there is one specifically for pools, but anything else that has kind of like a bath denotation, that's what wet spaces will be for. And we do have pre-selected styles available for you that you can preview from here. You just simply select it and you'll be able to see the color schemes there. Our most popular one is earth tones, but you can also get as specific as you want by adding even the hex codes or things like that to your floor plan. You can adjust things like the label text style, so the font that you want your floor plans to be in, the casting of the letters, even the colors as well. You can adjust how the label, the disclaimer text style is also viewed from your floor plan and even the text style itself. So every floor plan does say that they are created by the CubiCasa app. Measurements are deemed highly reliable but not guaranteed. If you add a space and click out of it, it will completely remove that disclaimer text for you, or you can even add your own if you're more comfortable with that option. If you're going to be downloading and uploading your floor plan to somewhere else, or you're going to be printing it out for marketing content, you can also adjust the resolution from here as well. If you are an appraiser with us, you can select print and appraisal reports to have the best resolution appear for you on any appraisal software. And lastly, you'll be able to adjust the swing angle of the doors. So for the fixed furniture icon, you can adjust that yourself here. The measurement arrows are those tiny arrows that appeared when you clicked for each space. It basically shows how wide or how much of the dimensions are included. I have it unselected because I think it removes some visual clutter, but you can add them if that's useful to you. No fill fixed furniture just means that the outline will be clear for any fixed furniture icons. I also recommend selecting this option. And then for any total measurements, you can have different ones displayed for the plus package. So the plus will automatically come with gross internal area, so the interior square footage of wall-to-wall space, not including exterior wall thickness or other outdoor spaces. On the other hand, the GLA is gross living area. You might be more familiar with that measurement. It's what appraisers are required to use, and it also is ANCI aligned. So if you do require that measurement, I would select that feature here. And then our total area does not display directly on the floor plan itself, but it is visible for you. And it calculates any large order processing fees above 5,000 square feet. So just to quickly show you that again, really quickly, so you're always aware of that, is when you click on any order and you go to order info, you'll always be able to see that total area from here. And then any large order property fees beyond 5,000 square feet will always be clearly noted for you within your order page as well. So just something to note there as well. Just quickly clicking back. And then the last thing that you can adjust is you can add a compass. So if you want to show the orientation of a space to kind of highlight that it might be it might be a beachfront property or it might be overlooking a scenic area, you can select that feature if that's going to be useful for you on a listing. So once you hit save, it will automatically save that template. You can create as many as you want. And if you want to edit it later, you can select the three icons next to it, select view, and then you'll have access to edit it at any point. And you can choose which one will be your default automatically on the app. So every time you create a scan, it will include that branded version that you want for you. You can also adjust the style on any previous orders already made by selecting that order address, selecting change style, and then simply select that style that you've just made. It will take just a few minutes for it to load. Once it's loaded, it will pop up for you. You can refresh the page if that helps, and you'll also get an email notification as well. So that is everything that I wanted to cover with you guys today in terms of making edits and customizations to your floor plans. If you ever need to review anything that we've covered with you today, go under the chat bubble at the bottom and go under the Help Center. This is a keyword searchable database. So if you need to review the quick edit, for instance, all our articles related to that will pop up for you and you will have step-by-step instructions on everything that can be done with the quick edit, the change request, or even the style settings if you need to review it later on. So highly recommend going there as a resource. And if you ever have any issues with any particular edits that you are experiencing or you have maybe more technical questions, always send us a message under the messages tab and our customer support team would love to get a hold of you and help answer any questions that you might have. So that's everything that I wanted to cover with you guys today. I will pass it to Joseph so that we can close this out and then share who the lucky winners are for today's giveaway.
Awesome. Thanks, Daniela. I'm going to get my screen reshared here just to guide everybody. If you have not created your CubiCasa account, head to your MLS dashboard, click through the CubiCasa link. You'll be able to set up your account and have all of those benefits automatically applied. I do want to direct everyone's attention to the chat box. I sent over a couple of links there. You'll find a link to our general help center as well as our YouTube channel. You'll find that 3D video rendering that we looked at earlier today. I also sent over some information for what I mentioned about the holiday decoration special that we've got running over the next couple weeks through the end of the year. So you'll find the detail there as well as a link to see one of those decorated 3D video renderings to get familiar with what that looks like if that's something that you do want to do for a listing that's about to hit the market. And then a couple of links to things that Daniela was walking us through today. our quick edit tool, an article walking you through all of the available features there, as well as a link to creating those custom styles. Some of the questions that I want to touch on before we wrap things up here with our winners. Um, I will note as well, once we close this out, we'll leave the room open for about 10-15 minutes or so. So please feel free to keep the questions coming. But a few questions that came through that I think we should share with the group regarding things like the size of the home that you scan, what are the additional costs for properties that go above that 5,000 square foot threshold. You can head to our pricing page. It's just kibi.casa/pricing. That will show you all the details for every product that we offer, including those oversized fees. We also have a Help Center article that walks you through how those calculations are created and the sort of breakdown of all those additional charges that you may see for those larger properties. There was also a question regarding commercial properties with that same sort of square footage threshold. So you can scan small commercial properties. The app was designed more towards residential properties. So for those smaller things, if you have, a store in a strip mall or something like that, totally fine to scan that. For larger commercial spaces or like open warehouses, we don't recommend doing so, especially if they're over 12,000 square feet. But if you do have a large commercial property like that that you do want to scan, I recommend just get in touch with our support team first. Let us know the address and things like that so we can look into it a little bit, and then we'll let you know the best next steps to take to actually scan that space. One other question was regarding if you have multiple users. This is actually what Daniela was showing us a second ago. If you have multiple offices under your brokerage or just multiple agents under a team or office, and you all want to be able to have access to all the floor plans that are happening for all of your listings, you can create one single sort of parent account and then have different users listed below. You can even set different permission types as well. So if you have, an assistant or team lead or office manager, somebody who needs to have separate permissions from those of you that are actually going to be scanning the properties, you'll be able to set all of that up as well. So that's everything regarding the questions that came through. I'm going to hand things over to Daniela to announce our winners, and then we'll close up. And like I said, we'll leave the room open just to continue responding to questions in the Q&A. But Daniela, go ahead and announce our winners.
All right. So thank you for everyone that stayed tuned with us till the end. Our lucky winner for a free plus package is Elivara Hernandez. So congratulations. And then another winner for a free plus package is Patricia Hertzson. So congrats. And then lastly, our grand prize, our 3D bundle. So this will include 3D floor plan and 3D video render. That grand prize is going out to Stephanie Hammond. So congrats on the winners today. Happy holidays from the CubiCasa team. I will be getting in touch with you after this webinar today to either send you a link to claim your prize or confirm once that has been added to your account. And thank you everyone else for joining. We will stay tuned here for Q&A. And if you have any feedback or questions or any kind of even ideas that you would want for future webinars, feel free to add them into the Q&A as well. We're always more than happy to hear from you.
So, all right. Well, thanks everyone so much for joining us today. Hopefully, this was helpful to get kind of a deeper dive into what you can do once you've created your floor plans, all the editing and customizing options. I recommend, go into one of your scans, play around, get familiar with the process. Don't forget our chat is always live and available for you with any sort of questions that you have. But for the next few minutes, keep your questions coming for Daniela and I. Thank you everyone so much for joining us today. Happy holidays and happy scanning.